Hello and welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time for Radiance's August announcements, and wow, what a lineup! I mean, I've not dug really into these films. I'm going to do it with you guys now, but initially, it's an impressive lineup. So we're going to dive into these three Radiance titles and one Raro title that they have announced for August. So let's start with the Raro title. We have The Italian Connection. Now, we just had The Boss that was released. I really wanted to see the Italian Connection. It was one that I hadn't seen. They talk about it a lot in the extras. And now that's going to be rectified because we have this wonderful release of it. In the 1970s, the crime film flourished in Italy as the country went through years of political and social unrest, the so-called Years of Lead. Italian movie producers would capitalise on these events by producing cheap, violent movies about national organised crime and corruption. In De Leo's The Italian Connection, New York mob dispatched two hitmen, Henry Silva and Woody Strode, to apprehend pimp Luca Canelli, who they believed to have stolen a shipment of heroin. The local mob also joined the hunt, but despite being outnumbered, Luca refuses to go quietly and fights back against the pursuers, leading a thrilling series of chases and shootouts and a trail of bloody destruction, a noted influence on Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. This is Poliziotecchi at its most entertaining and action-packed. That just sounds great in my ears. This is a 2020 4K restoration of the original negative, presented with Italian and English audio on Blu-ray for the first time in the UK. We've got the uncompressed mono PCM audio, and A Tiny Bullet for a Tiny Kitten, a new visual essay by Howard S. Berger on De Leo's use of deadpan farce and absurdism in his social critiques of post-war Italy and his Milieu trilogy. Archival documentary, The Roots of Mafia, reversible sleeve, new improved English subtitle translation, limited edition booklet, and it is limited to 3,000 copies. Hell yes, that sounds fantastic. I have heard nothing but great things on the review for The Boss that I did about the Italian Connection, so I am super interested in that. Now on to Viva la Muerte. After the Spanish Civil War draws to a close, Fando, a young boy, is tormented by violently conflicting feelings towards his mother, who he suspects may have had a role in his father's capture by fascists. Feelings that manifest themselves as a nightmarish onslaught of terrifying and bizarre imagery. Based on Fernando Arrabal's own brutal experiences during the Civil War, Viva la Muerte is a shockingly provocative work of surrealist cinema from the artist and filmmaker who co-founded the Panic Movement collective alongside Jodorowsky. This is a new 4K restoration of the original 35mm camera negative. Audio discussion from the project booth featuring Mike White, Heather Drain and Jess Byard. Sur le Tres de Bal, a short documentary by Abdelatif Ben Amar, in which the filmmaker follows Arrabal's film and captured him at work on Viva la Muerte. Vida Rabal, a feature-length documentary on Arrabal by Xavier Pastuel Baron, capturing the life and work of this singular filmmaker, playwright, painter and essayist. We have an interview with scholar and Spanish cinema expert David Archibald. Trailer, reversible sleeve, booklet, and it is limited to 3,000 copies. Now, it does have here, members get a 10% discount if you buy all of the August releases, which, to be honest, they all sound kind of good. This one is probably the one I know least about. Still sounds interesting, and I've got enough just trust in Radiance at the moment that I'm going to go with it. Next up, we have Tokujiro Lone Yakuza, which is another Taito film. Weary of the rigid codes of underworld gambler, Tokujiro wanders in Japan in search of freedom, but escape proves to be impossible when an obligation to a gang boss leaves him with no choice but to kill a man. To atone for his crime, he vows to take care of the victim's widow and young son, but the gang won't rest until they've killed the entire family, including the man that stands in their way. With this breathtakingly stylized film, Taito broke all the conventions of the Yakuza genre, fusing blood-spurting action with melodrama worthy of Japanese cinema's greatest masters. We have a high-def digital transfer, uncompressed mono PCM audio, interview with film critic Kushi Ueno about the film's place in genre cinema history, visual essay on star Konosuke Nakamura by Japanese cinema expert Robin Gatto, new improved English subtitle translation, reversible sleeve, limited edition booklet, and it is limited to 3,000 units. Now, there is a link towards the trailer down here as well. It looks fantastic, and already I do like the Taito stuff that has been released by Radiance, so it's a no-brainer yet again. And finally, the big announcement is World Noir Volume 2, which after the last set I've been greatly excited about this one. As the 1960s got underway, the golden age of film noir in Hollywood came to an end, with a new wave of filmmaking emerging that would define itself against the studio system. But while the classic noir fell out of favour with American audiences and producers, filmmakers across the world, particularly in countries that continued to grapple with the devastating fallout of the Second World War, continued to produce first-rate examples of the genre, with 3 such examples here in our second volume of titles showcasing the best of world noir. First up, we have Black Gravel. Sony is a town built on Vice for the occupying American forces in Cold War Germany. Robert, a local truck driver who sells off gravel from the site he works on as a side hustle, runs into an old frame. Ing is now respectably married to American officer John, who runs the site. Driving in Robert's truck, tragedy strikes, and he and Ing must do their best to cover up a pair of dead bodies. From Helmut Kultner, unknown in the UK, but the subject of numerous recent retrospectives and hailed as an underappreciated master, his films have remained difficult to see outside of Germany, until recently. Black Gravel has been restored in the Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau Stiftung in 2 versions, the premiere version and the distributed version, the latter of which removing 2 moments of anti-Semitism, something which Kultner was unafraid of portraying in the film. Next up, we have Symphony for a Massacre. 5 gangsters raise the cash to buy a large shipment of drugs which they plan to sell on. One of the gang, however, plans to secretly rob his partners, beginning an escalating spiral of violence and deception that leaves a trail of bodies across France. Fiendishly plotted with a twisty script from Jose Giovanni and Claude Staudet, adapting a novel by Renaud Fortin, Symphony for a Massacre sees the French master of the mystery thriller Jacques Deray directing with real energy and verve. And finally, we have Cruel Gun Story. Togawa is released from prison early by his underworld boss. They make him execute a daring heist on an armoured vehicle, knowing he has no choice to do it, as he needs the money for his sister's surgery. With multiple partners and facets to the operation, much is at risk, and all is never as it seems. A variation of Kubrick's The Killing from the Katsu action line to Kami Fukuwa directs this Yakuza tale with every bit the deftness found in classic American noir of the 50s. We have a 4K restoration of Sympathy of the Massacre, 2K restoration of Black Gravel, high-def transfer of Cruel Gun Story, uncompressed mono PCM for all films, optional English subtitles for all films, new designed artwork, 80-page booklet, and it's limited to 3,000 copies. As for the films themselves, Black Gravel includes uncensored original cut and the re-edited distribution cut, commentary, a new introduction from writer and programmer Margaret Diaz, newsreel footage from the behind the scenes, and footage of an interview with Kultner, a reversible sleeve, Sympathy for a Massacre, a new audio commentary, new introduction, archival interviews, and a reversible sleeve. And Cruel Gun Story has an audio commentary, introduction, archival interview, visual essay on that one, original trailer, and reversible sleeve. I thought the World Noir box set was phenomenal. 3 tremendous movies that were all excellent, and I am eager to get my hands on a part 2 of that. So there is the 4 titles that's out this month. Some really exciting ones there, varied, and a month that I can't wait to get to August to visit all these films, particularly that World Noir Volume 2 set, which just looks amazing. And the Italian Connection, terrific. I would love to know what you think of these announcements. What here really makes you excited? What makes you look, oh yeah, I need to get my hands on that. I want that. That just sounds fantastic. If you've seen any of the films, I want to know your opinion of them. So drop me a comment in the comment box below. Let me know what to expect from these ones. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.